Dune Part 2 was released in 2024 and was directed by Denis Villeneuve. It tells the story of Paul, who is united with Chani and the Freemen to get revenge against the conspirators who killed his family, which leads to facing a choice between love and the fate of the universe. He must put a stop to a terrible future that only he can see is going to be caused.
So I finally got around to watching the Dune movies. I know it took me forever to watch them, and I do apologize I didn't see them sooner, but better late than never. So I watched the first Dune recently, and I think it's pretty good. I don't think it's perfect, but I do think it's a very good film. I think the storyline's quite interesting. It's got a good direction, good characters, great performances, a very unique movie visually. I feel both of these movies are very unique looking. But I think overall it's a very solid movie and I quite enjoyed it and I'm very glad I gave it a chance. So, as for the sequel, Dune Part 2, what do I think of this one? I have to say, this one took me by surprise. This movie is actually better than the original in pretty much every single way. I have to say, I was very impressed and very surprised with how much I enjoyed this film. This film is excellent. I really, thoroughly enjoyed it. I have to say, very impressive film. The storyline is very interesting. It takes its time, I'd say, with the pacing. It takes its time to build up to the climax of the movie, kind of similar to the first one. I think what I like about these movies so far is that the first movie kind of felt like a pilot episode, but in movie form. This film to me felt like, okay, this is exactly what the first movie was really setting up. And I kind of like that both of these movies are setups, and it's been said that the third film is going to complete the trilogy. Although I wouldn't mind it being a quadrilogy, but that's just me. But I am very intrigued to see the third film. I want to see how the story comes to a natural close. I think that's going to be pretty interesting. I like how the storyline, it's got a lot of uniqueness to it. It's a very unique film with the execution. I think the world building is very creative. I think the locations are pretty cool. And I think the direction is very good. It's very compelling to see where the characters begin and where the characters are going to end up later on in the film. It's a very interesting story. I think it's very fascinating. I feel both of these movies, you kind of have to see them for yourself to go, okay, oh wow, that's actually quite interesting. The direction, the dynamics, and the way the story is going is quite fascinating, actually. I think these movies are very fascinating with their direction. Visually, the movie looks great. I feel both Dune 1 and 2 are very unique looking movies with their locations, their designs, and etc. etc. I feel the aesthetic is very Star Wars like, but I do feel the rest of the movie, I feel like there's just something about the colour correction that I find very unique compared to other movies. I just feel visually, I don't know what it is, but I just think there's something about the colour correction and lighting that just looks very unique to me. So overall, I think visually, these movies look really good. And I have to say, I quite like the characters. Timothée Chalamet's character is a really good protagonist and I quite like his character arc throughout the two movies. And I think Zendaya's character is very interesting in this film. I was quite surprised that she was barely in the first one, but I have to say I was very impressed with the way her character was written here. I quite enjoyed her chemistry with Timothée Chalamet and I think she's a very well written character, very independent and a very strong and fierce female character, which is great. I also really like Josh Brolin's character. Not only does Josh Brolin provide a great performance, but I really like the character's personality. I also quite like Florence Pugh's character. She's quite interesting and her role in the movie I think is quite interesting. I like how she's written as a character in the film. I think every other character, they all bounce off each other very well and I like that they all contribute to the plot. As for the villains though, I'm not sure exactly how I feel about them. It's not that the villains are bad, they are good and they do serve their purpose, but I feel something is lacking. Something just feels a little missing to me. I feel like there could be either more screen time or more character development to give a bit more impact. It could be just me. I do need to watch the movie again to really decide how I feel about the villains, but as of now, I just feel something's a little missing in this one. I just wish there was either a bit more screen time or development. I need to watch it again though to decide. So I think Dune 2 has a cast of really good characters and the performances are fantastic. Every actor does a phenomenal performance and I think there are certain scenes in the film where the performances really do stand out, and I think that's very impressive. The music by Hans Zimmer, well, I'm not gonna lie, this is my same opinion that I had on the music on the first one. Not really my thing. Now, that's not to say the music's bad, it's just not really my kind of music personally. But from a non-biased perspective, the music is pretty good. It's not bad. It's just, from a biased perspective, personally, not my kind of music. But hey ho, it's not bad. I do have to say though, I think Dune 2 is a very impressive film. I think it's a fantastic film, and I'm very happy that I gave both of these movies a chance. I may get around to reviewing the first movie in the future. It's just, I don't have a lot to say about the first one as I do with the second one, but maybe that'll change on rewatch, so who knows. But as of now, I think both of these movies are very good, and I'm very happy to say that I like the second one even more.
Overall, Dune 2 is an excellent sequel. It has a very compelling storyline with a fascinating direction, it's got great visuals and cinematography, very well written characters, and while the music personally isn't really my thing, it still ain't half bad. I'm going to give Dune Part 2 a very, very strong 9 out of 10.
So I have to say, I'm very happy that I decided to give both of these movies a chance. I have to say, it was very nice to watch them for the first time, and I'll definitely be more than happy to pick up the Blu-ray at some point in the future. And I'm very excited to see what number 3 is going to be like. I have a feeling it'll be a worthy conclusion for the trilogy. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind if there were 4 movies, but that's just me personally. So thank you guys so much for watching my review. Let me know what you guys think of both Dune 1 and 2 in the comment section below. Take care everyone, stay tuned for the next video, and until then, skadoosh everyone.